I think it's actually symbolic that we as Zimbabwe were able to attend this year's edition of the forum. And this is because there's been a lot of developments around internet governance and also reflections around what freedom on the internet means and how it fits into the whole debate around free expression, privacy, and you're a privacy person. I don't know what you think.
I thought the experience was rich. I especially enjoyed, first of all, my session because it was on digital security. The biggest takeaway for me was the involvement and inclusion of Zimbabwe into the State of Internet Freedom report. I personally got the opportunity to work on it. So we had a session on it today and the feedback from the audience was fantastic. I thought that we got some really interesting suggestions of how the report can be improved moving forward into the future, especially the point about including already organizations that work in the area of research. So it's something that I think CIPESA is going to take on board in the next report for 2017.
Right, and I also think that the fact that Zimbabwe is here this year is significant because of the debates that we've been having around internet governance and around defining what free expression or freedom on the internet is. I feel that it's critical for us to especially take away issues relating to cybersecurity, how we can build trust and consensus around a law that citizens firstly own, that citizens rightly acknowledge as protection of their rights. And I think the current problem that we might have in our country right now is that we have an ICT policy that does not reflect genuine need or a genuine acknowledgement of human rights online. So I think my takeaway is just the acknowledgement that if you have a state that recognizes human rights offline, definitely those will replicate themselves online.
Yeah. Now that you've mentioned the subject of cybersecurity, my session on digital security yesterday, an interesting question came up about the difference between cybersecurity and digital security and whether one was just a sexier term referring to the same thing. And the main takeaway from that session was how we need to focus on or find ways of public education, getting ordinary users of technology to be more aware of digital security because more and more it's becoming a need with information leakages, with people getting hacked and stuff like that. So it's an important thing that I think I'm going to look at moving forward.
Yeah, and I think I just also realized that digital security would be a reaction or a response to the likely cyber threats. So they do coexist, but I think that digital security would be an acknowledgement of the threats and also a weapon against them.
Exactly.
So I think that within the context of cybersecurity and cyber crimes laws on the continent, there is no way that we can separate the two.
Yeah.
Whilst you look at issues relating to cyber terrorism, to thefts online, identity thefts, what you need to be saying to this ordinary user is, this is how you can circumvent it.
Exactly. And on an unrelated note, I thought that, first of all, just finding a lot of people who are alumni of AfriSig, I was so excited by that. And there was like almost 15 of us in the space, which means I think that platform is doing a lot to cultivate, people who are going to be interacting in the internet governance space. In addition to that, I think the value of spaces like this is always also the networking. I made a lot of contacts, people I will probably collaborate with moving forward in the future. So I really think CIPESA did a good job of bringing people together in this forum.
And for me is also the recognition by CIPESA to have a specific session which I moderated on the realities of the traditional or mainstream media with the emergence of a digital era. And I would like to encourage people, especially media practitioners, to look at the YouTube video that's been posted, the session on clickbait journalism and the realities of African media, because there was insightful conversations around sustainability, around audiences, audience centricism, and also just the value of content. So be sure to look at that video as well.
I'll be sure to look at it. I
Yeah.
missed your session because I was in.
Right.
Yeah.
So thanks.